this covenant has to do with offspring, right? With future generations, right? So what does circumcision have to do with offspring? We have to understand how ancient Israelites thought procreation worked. Fertility was not generally seen as like the natural state of all humans. They knew that not every act of intercourse leads to conception. So what explains the fact that sometimes does, sometimes doesn't? Divine intervention is needed. And this was a broad ancient Near Eastern belief. We have wonderful texts from Egypt and Mesopotamia, right? We have like diagrams of, how God needs to intervene. Even in the Bible, we have all this language of, right, God holds the key to the womb, for example. So the divine intervention is needed for intercourse to be procreative successfully. And what's being promised here to Abraham isn't just fertility, but super fertility, right? Think about the other promises. I'll make you like the dust of the earth and the stars in the sky. Right? This isn't just, it'll be fine, right? This is, I got to start with you, one person. I got to make a whole nation out of you. So how is circumcision part of that plan? Like the rainbow, which God sees and remembers a promise that he made, so too circumcision. When two members of this family, Abraham's family descendants, when two members of this family have sex, God sees the circumcision and remembers, I got to make sure this coupling is a fertile one. That's the way this reminder works. The main difference between this covenantal sign and reminder and the one in the flood story is that God can make a rainbow himself. We can't. God makes the rainbow to remember, or the rain makes the rainbow to remember. But God can't circumcise, right, Israelite children. So Abraham and his descendants have to make the sign of the covenant themselves, right? The sign is in their own flesh. Which doesn't mean, as it's often understood, it doesn't mean that circumcision is a covenantal demand, right? This is not a two-sided thing. You circumcise yourselves, and in return, I promise to be your God, right? It's a promise. I promise to be your God. But Israel has like a human responsibility, to make sure that the reminder, the sign exists, right? Their job is to keep God's eye on the prize, a phrase for which I now apologize. So in this sense, actually, the circumcision sign is actually very much like a different sign, again, from our same Pentateuchal source, which is the blood on the doorposts during the death of the firstborn in Egypt, right? That's how, at that time, God distinguishes between Israelites and non-Israelites. That's what this is too, right? Yahweh's looking down on everybody having sex. And how does he know which ones are the Israelites? Because they're circumcised. So he intervenes in the same way that in Egypt, he looks down and he sees the blood on the doorposts and he goes, right, I need to skip that house. Same basic idea here.